Hello, welcome to the first episode of Gaming Gamers. Today we're going to talk about a game that's special in my heart, one of the best games I've played on the GameCube. At the end, I've actually bought it way later when I had the GameCube. I actually had a Wii at that time. I played it on the Wii. It's Skies of Arcadia. Legends. Great game. Now, I'll talk to you about the story. The story is about this guy here, Vice, the Blue Rogue. He's of course with his trusty sidekick girl, Aika, when they go and plunder one Valuan ship from the Valuan Empire, and they find this girl called Fina. And Fina is a girl from the Silver Moon, the lost civilization of the Sylvates. Yes, Sylvates. Great name. So the story starts like this, and of course we're going to talk about now. Better we talk about the gameplay. If I go too far, I might spoil the game for you, because I really can talk to you a long ways with the 6 moons: red, purple, silver, green, yellow, and all of them have their own civilizations and history. Of course, gameplay is of course your usual RPG element, you know, turn-based combat with a bar at the top, which is spirit. Now, if you have enough spirit, as you raise level, of course, as you raise level, you get more spirit. And of course, you have the option at the end to raise your spirit during the turn, which increases your spirit. Now, spirit, what's the use of spirit when you fight the boss? It's basically, super moves. Now, some super moves might cost 7, some super moves might cost 12, and some super moves might actually cost you like 21, which is Vice's last move. I will not spoil it for you, but that last move is the best move, Pirate's Wrath. So the game also, I mean, you know, when you're playing this game, you're traveling in a ship. First you get your small little ship that you don't know what to do with, you can't fight with it very well, you've got cannons and so you got ship fights. Awesome ship fights. Probably one of the rare games I've only seen ship fights in a turn-based game, by the way. I haven't played any other games with ship fights, where turn-based ship fights where you see basically ships running around like that and hitting each other like usual. If you've ever played other games of the type. Okay, so other than that, story is awesome. Well, most of the old stories, it's basically like the old RPGs where there's adventures waiting for you in distant lands and you have to discover things. Of course, in this one, which is the Nintendo GameCube version, and this one you actually have extra stuff to do. What are the extra stuff? The extra stuff are of course bounties. You have bounties. You can actually go beat a certain enemy and get his bounty. Now you have you have a total of, I don't remember exactly, probably 10 bounties, maybe more, of people you have to catch, people you have to like defeat, either in a boat fight or one-on-one turn-based with your characters. They're the challenging part of the game. Also, another extra is this girl with the Sith and her dog, where she gives you a mark, a black mark, where you have to meet her every step, every progression of the game. You see her, you fight her, and she gives you the story, which is extra. Though all of this is extra from the last one. In Dreamcast you didn't have that. What can I say? When you play this game, the feeling of just flying around your ship, especially when you get a bit further in the game, you can go up in the air even further, because you can actually you invent something that can go above high air level, and you can go below. Then discover even more stuff in the game, where you have actually discoveries, like you can discover so many things in the game where it actually gives you money and specific characters. You can also get a crew. Now, you can only get the crew halfway in the game. Halfway in the game meaning after you get your last ship. Your last ship, you have to recruit people. You don't have to recruit people for the whole game, but I really recommend just doing it. It's awesome. Yet you never get bored of it. You never get bored of the gameplay. You never get bored of the graphics, which are a bit better than the Dreamcast version. Not too much. And I've always enjoyed games like this where you travel. You're with your ship, you fight weird monsters in some areas of the game, then you pass through special areas that you couldn't do because your ship suddenly became stronger, going below air level, which I don't know how you can explain that, because they all fly in the air, all the islands are in the air. It's a beautiful game. Beautiful game. Music. Now, some say, music isn't that important. To me, music is the paramount of every RPG you play. If the music is not memorable, you will not like the game. I can promise you this. If the game sucks, it will have sucky soundtrack. But this game is the music. Even the first intro of this game, the music is violent. Good soundtrack from the CD, of course. It's not like the old games where you have like that programmed sound. Music is awesome. From the beginning of the game to the end of the game, you never get bored of the music. You never get bored of the music. I was going to say that you can get bored at some point because you're always on the ship, running around, because you run around the ship a lot, by the way. You just travel, and then you go to a new stage, and then you beat enemies. The game isn't as challenging as you would think when you play the actual storyline. Now the storyline is easy. The storyline, what happens is that you just beat a boss and then continue on to the next part of the segment of the story and everything. But there's a lot of side quests. And of course, you can achieve in this one, which you couldn't achieve in the old one, is the legend status. Now you become a Vice the Legend, which apparently I've heard on the internet there are some glitches which you can't get the legend status unless you get 100% of everything, and don't run too much from battles. You better remember that, because if you run from at least 3 battles or 4, I think you're gone. You can't even get the legend status. The legend status apparently is glitchy sometimes, and some apparently have noticed that you can get glitches. Personally, I never had it. Some people say that at a specific bounty you get, your reputation goes down because of a certain part in the story. I won't ruin it for you. And they say that sometimes you can't go back to your actual status after this happens, but I've never had any problem. Really, in this game, even the characters are the most memorable characters I've had. We have Drachma, the guy who's hunting a whale, much like Moby Dick. It's a story basically really taken from Moby Dick, except his son was killed by this giant whale that flies in the air. Yes, a flying whale. Of course, the whale has a more, inside part of the story. I will not ruin it for you, like I said, I won't ruin the game for you. But it's an important part of the story, and you get other characters with the gun, Gilder, you get other characters, Ramirez, and other captain, the Queen, and of course your 4th character, which will be your last character that you will get, is of course Enrique. I will not also spoil that, I will only say his name. Great game. I've spent hours on this game, hours. It is a must-buy, I even open it every time. I just love looking at the booklet. And besides, you have to look at the booklet, because I'll show you something. You have to know this, because one day when you're going to play it, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I don't know if you can see it. It's you see this? This is the weakness table. You will have to memorize this. Either you don't memorize this, or you just have the book right in front of you and you fight bosses, because at some point you will need this. Actually very useful for some bosses. Anyways, great game. Must have. I recommend it for anyone who loves RPGs, and I'm a big fan of RPGs. Now, Okay, other than that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, of course share to your friends. If you also want to share on Facebook and Twitter, we have that too. Subscribe there, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to like. Thank you.